Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirsho here, and now, before I do begin, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. Now, we had Deku. Deku, he has gotten back to the material plane. He's done quite a lot in the last year and a half, as he's discovered. Now, he has been trying to handle things. He talked to Ochako and Bakugo, and the two were quite alarmed when they got a call on their crystal and picked up to find it was Izuku Midoriya, alive, pale, and aged. He's so different from what they remember. He broke his curse and then tried to tell them a bit about what he did. He asked them if they knew about the power of essence and cultivation techniques. The two of them, they've heard of them. They take time, they take effort, and from what they understand, they don't really have that. Deku, however, tried to explain it a bit better. He explained that he turned into a planeswalker. He knows that they may have the potential to turn into some as well, since he was informed that 2 other planeswalker sparks existed when he activated his own skill. Now, he tried to tell them about his method, but when he got to the point where he died, and that was just when he started, Ochako, she did not want to hear the rest of it. The idea that this technique was powerful enough to kill Izuku just by trying it means a bit. The fact he survived isn't really worth it. I mean, it might be worth a shot, but not yet. Right now, they're doing their own thing. Bakugo lied about a tournament happening in 3 weeks. Ochako told the truth that it was happening in 1. Izuku then talked about how he may or may not participate. After he hung up, he went to Granala, where he informed Princess Lillian and King Solomon of him being alive. He ran into Theodore, who wanted to test the proficiency of this man. He heard it was Izuku when he stepped in. He snuck up on him and tried to hit him with a strike. However, Deku countered it, pushed him back in strength, and then nearly knocked his jaw off, knocking a tooth out of his mouth. And this meant a bit for the man. The idea that his student surpassed him without his training anymore means a lot in his mind. Like a proud father, watching his son live a better life. Now, Deku then went back to Atrik's home, where he had to not only name his new adamantine dragon, he had to try and figure out what to do with this whole situation with the Fae. Since Thela has been a big help. If he doesn't visit her, she'll visit him. And that's another story entirely. Now that he's back, she might call upon him to marry her. He's trying to think of a way out, but Atrik has told him it may be impossible, and making an enemy of an archfey is highly dangerous, which Izuku is very much aware of. Now then, he tried to talk to Indra a bit more about this, and right now, he does currently have 5 days before the tournament. He decided to start meditating yesterday, and he has not moved from this spot since he's gotten here. He felt the night air pass by him. He felt how it changed into the nice, soothing light of day. How the sun began to kiss his skin and the wind started to blow a little bit more. He sensed something to the north, something powerful, strong, but whenever he flared up his own magical power, it diverted its path. It's some sort of magical creature. And now that it knows something way stronger is this direction, it has begun to divert its path around him. Perhaps an entire herd? It's too varied to be one creature entirely. Maybe a pack of wolves? Maybe a pack of tigers? That'd be ironic. You notice that there's a lot of very magical creatures in this area. I mean, apparently dinosaurs do exist here, so it's not too much of a stretch to say it could be a powerful creature like that. Perhaps a giant alligator? And he does go to tighten the grip on his hands. Trying to focus again on the path he's trying to take. He's thought about it much. He does get a stand on the open field, turning his head and looking as the yellow grass has begun to turn back to green, as a shattered sky has begun to mend, turning his head to the moon and staring at it flickering. He's surprised. Of all the ways to depict his own mind, mending. This field, it's a good way to look at it. Dirt has begun to be overturned. Something new is there. Him turning his head towards a dead tree. However, it does have the slightest bloom to it. A few leaves at the top. And that stem of life is making its way back down to connect to the earth. It's ironic. Him going to sit here, thinking about it. If he does choose to go down the path of marrying an archfey, her granddaughter, I mean, the archfey is going to be something to deal with. A powerful ally, or potentially be cursed for not upholding a deal he didn't even make. Indra's aware of it, but the implications of it all are bad. The Fae are going to want an heir. He knows that much. And right now, he doesn't know if that's a good idea. Right. Surprise them before they can be surprised. Think of it like a battle, a tactic. If he catches the archfey by surprise, then they can't try to claim he never made contact. They can't try to claim he's avoiding their deal. And then there's that entire thing with the mimic from the Underdark. Finding a place for its spawn to be safe. Keeping his word. He doesn't want to be a liar. He never has been. But these stakes are too high. But at the same time, the benefits are better than the drawbacks. If he doesn't uphold the deal, he may not be able to work with any Fae. And with his luck, in the future, that could get more bad. I mean, he might have to talk to another archfey, and if they know he can't keep a word, they won't make a deal with him. He'll be seen in a negative light. He may have the favor of deities, but they try to stay out of mortal affairs as much as possible. But they have been getting more involved. They might be godlike, but the idea of them going to defy one, he's not sure if they would. That's not who he is. But at the same time, that's not who he was. He didn't want to kill people before. He had to. Had to fight, had to live, had to survive. He still has something broken inside him, trying to get out. He still remembers everything he saw under that curse. Best he can do is try not to be that way. He wants his peace back. But it may not come back for some time. He craves war. He craves violence. These urges in his head he doesn't know how to control. He is not okay. but he just needs to aim them, aim himself. A warrior of fury and might. Kind to his allies, compassionate to them, ruthless to his enemies. He had to reinvent himself in the Underdark, constantly battling, aiming higher and higher. That is what he has to do. Uphold his deal, and what consequences may fall out from it. Dragons are prideful creatures. Indra will understand. Him to finally open his eyes. And right as a turn, looking at the green field around him, he does look up. Right now, him going to stare at a few creatures that do fly overhead. Some not realizing Deku was there until he opened his eyes. Before they do so scatter around since his magical presence has begun to return. And right now, he does go to look around, thinking about where to go, as he does go to teleport back directly into Atrig's lair. And whenever he does go to walk into the room, he does go to look around. Before he does ask Atrig where Indra might be, the man turning his head. Have you come to a decision on your deal? I have. I wish to talk to her. Sit. You'll talk with me for a second. No. Him turning his attention towards Izuku, his eyes glowing with mana as Deku does see him, not flinching, not changing his stance, telling Atrig, bring his hands up calmly and crossing them. Him and Indra need to have a conversation. Their relationship is new, and she was aware of Thila's presence in his mind, aware of it in his dreams. The two chatted and talked. She helped them in the Underdark. They have a rapport with each other. I see. You're going to keep your word. A man's word is something to keep. It is who he is. My reputation may be what? Not good? People know me as a scarred warrior. Is that right? They know you as dead. Well, I'll prove them wrong. They know I was cursed and I ran. I retreated into myself. I wish to prove that wrong. I've been forged in battle. And I want them to know that. I'm back. That's what I want them to know. I won't retreat. And I won't fail. Dragons are prideful. Are you calling me arrogant? No. It's a fact. I'm saying, would you break your word? Him glaring at Atrig. And the man, he does stare at Deku. The two staring each other down as he does break eye contact first, turning his head and sipping his tea. Indra is currently out training. She's on the mountaintop to the west. And when I turn, for Atrig does tell Deku, if he ever breaks his daughter's heart, you'll kill me. No, she'll kill you. I will merely bring you back. That way I may kill you myself. She can take care of herself. That is what worries me. You don't trust her? I do. That is the problem. It is others I do not trust. People. Very many get on my good side. Fewer live to keep on my good side. Only one has truly changed me. I'm gonna leave. And Izuku's response tells Atrig a bit. He does understand. The boy has lost. The man has lost things. Right now, he must try to have faith in what Izuku's doing. It may not be desirable, but it is something. And right now, Izuku, he does have a talk with Dila. Him going to pop over to the Feywild after him and Indra, they had a conversation. Now, we do have the Twilight Court. The court was in session, and they were going over a little bit of things that was going on there. How some adventurers, they've caused a little bit of trouble. How some creatures have been running around and doing their own thing. And then there was another issue. Poachers decided that they can try to come into their territory. And Izuku, he does suddenly manifest directly in front of the court. People turn their heads as guards, do immediately jump into action with their weapons. And Deku, he has to do one simple thing. Whenever 4 massive spears do try to strike him down, he does go to bring his hand up and manifest his blade. Him slicing upwards as the blade does going to move in slow motion to the Archfey. Watching it move. It cleaves through the head of one spear. It cuts down into the second. Before the man does go to turn his foot and shift. The second blade manifesting his hand as it cleaves through the second and third. Turning to the fourth and it cleave it off. Before he does go to bring his hands up. Pushing them all back with power. And when the men are sent flying backwards, crashing to the ground, Deku, he does go to watch. The spears falling to the ground as he does still stand there to everybody who watched him. And the Archfey does bring her hand up. Stop. People glaring at the human who just appeared in the court. No magic was sensed. Nothing. And the Archfey does look down. Who are you? Apologies, Savetti. Him bringing his hand up, bowing his head, and expressing. He's come to honor the deal with Fova. And people do sit in the room quietly. And the Archfey does look at Deku a little bit more closely. Him raising his head as he does go to express. He has returned. Her eyes going wide. As everyone do realize that this human does know them. I see. You've come to marry her. Yes. Is she in the castle? Him thinking of her. And whenever his vision does get a focus on her, he does talk about it. Right. He'll be going now. Wait. Her reaching her hand up, telling Izuku. Perhaps they can chat for a second. His power, it is much greater than before. There were rumors of his death. People thought I died. Your granddaughter did not tell you? No, she did not. I see. It was exaggerated. World thinks I'm dead for right now. Now, Savetti, I will be going. Her bring her hands up, trying to bind Deku to the spot, however he has to disappear. And people do glare at that. Only she, however, saw what truly happened. She saw the way his essence wrapped around him. The way he just moved and flowed without magic. Without magic. And that does make a small grin creep along her face. Many people in the court unnerved by the action itself. And there is Fova. She currently sat in a room where she had a few more things written out, going over some things she may need to for the court. Very soon one day she will ascend to it. And One day soon, she does hope to rule over it, as her grandmother does. And right now she's a turn, feeling a presence behind her. Seeing Izuku, who does want to sit there on the bed. Right now, him in simple clothes. And hello. Hi, Thela. What are you doing here? How did you get past the guards? There's not much that can hold me anymore. Long story. A long story indeed. You've not reached out to me in a month. It's been a crazy month. I noticed. Her walking over, going to reach her hand out and rub the side of Deku's face, talking about it. He has grown another beard. Yeah, I did. Kind of getting used to him. Though, they keep my face warm. You have another scar. Yeah. Killed another dragon. Her giving him a smile. I see. And of your companion? She's safe. We both are. Long story short, I'm here to ask. Hammering his hand up to hers, and she does a somewhat lean forwards and put her leg on the bed. Her getting close to eye level with Deku. As she's to lean in and ask, what is he here for? Your hand. I'm here to ask. Her smiling, talking about it. Perhaps, but she does wish for the words to come from his mouth. We're not playing this game. But it is a fun game. Him turning. Right now, her gonna someone let a small sound as she does crash backwards on her bed, and Deku, he does stand above her. Right now, him telling her. They're not playing this game. He's got a few days. And if she does not want him to honor the deal, then he could always go. Gonna pull back and stand. Her sitting up rather quickly as her gray face, it does begin to give a bit more of a flush. Him turning to the door as if he was going to leave. And she does mention, wait, reaching at her hand. Before she does this, try and regain her composure. You don't have to. Are you sure? I do like this game of ours. I see you've grown sadistic. Not exactly. Though, I don't play with my food, if that's what you mean. And is that what I am? No. Not exactly. Though, her standing, walking over to him and wrapping her arms around his neck. It does seem like you have grown rather cocky. I have surpassed many people. Though I do want to say your grandmother, she may be up on the roster soon. You think that you can battle an archfey? Perhaps. Him leaning down, and she does a glare directly up at him. Deku wrapping his arms around her back and surprising her. She's caught off guard by him. A different attitude, a different manner of speaking. He's so powerful. And their ears with someone does get clear their throat. Deku, turning his head at Stila, does try to jump backwards, unable to out of Deku's grip. And right now the archfey does go to stand there, expressing, if the two are done, perhaps they can have the ceremony before they have an heir, rather than after they make one. And Thela does go to stare on her grandmother. Deku letting out a small laugh talking about it. Okay, fine. He's just having a little bit of fun. Your presence here is surprising, hero. I believe you know my name already. And I believe you know hers. You are family. We are. However, she doesn't understand much of our politics. People may be listening all the time. If they know your name, it could be bad. I see. Well then, let's drop the formalities. Deku bringing his hand up and snapping his fingers. And when the room does go quiet, there is the Archfey, who does express. A planeswalker after so long. She cannot believe it. And the other doesn't turn her head surprised. Planeswalker? He's a planeswalker, grandmother. Yes, he is, Thela. Quite powerful. Strong. It is exciting to witness. Now then, if you two are going to wed, I believe we must do this correctly. It will take us time. However, do you have a gift for your bride-to-be? Deku looking down at Thela. Before he does, he's going to bring his hand up and go to rub the back of his neck. No, I wasn't aware that was part of your traditions. I see. Well then, perhaps you should, her reaching a hand out and tapping Deku on the chest. Get his bride a gift. Proper, elegant, and something he thinks does befit her title. Afterwards, they can get the ceremony going. Has he made use of that cloak of his? I have. I've tried to be careful with it. You do not need to. It's quite powerful. Where is it? Him manifesting it on his person. And over the red cloak does begin to glow, she does go to begin talking about it. Perhaps he does misunderstand the use of it. That cloak belonged to a very powerful Fey warrior. He put it through many of its paces, and after his death, it returned back to the royal armory. Really? Yes, it did. Perhaps that is what you should know. It can be destroyed, but in time it will remanifest. Her pointing out something on the hood. These devices here. They do work off of your mana. Deku staring at the metallic-like ring on it. And it does mean a bit. Her telling him, use it wisely, and be careful with it. While he does think it's delicate, it is not indestructible. Him nodding his head. Before Thela does turn directly to him, and trying to ask her grandmother if she should get him a gift as well. Perhaps you should. Your husband-to-be is quite powerful, and I would not let this one go if I were you. Some other Fae may try to snatch him right up. We cannot let Daros know of this. Daros? Another Archfey? If he finds out that you are a planeswalker, then he would have many of his daughters lining up for you. Perhaps even all of them. I see. I'm already in a bit of a complicated spot with that, so when you have that brought up, I'm gonna have to ask this. How does that work? Whatever do you mean? relationships. The Fae aren't typically human, if that makes sense. The necessary equipment is not what I meant. What I mean is, you know, what you were saying? Quite the interesting man. Are you saying you are trying to take on multiple wives? Not exactly, no. It is an option. It is all politics. It is all about the strong and the position you may have. Just like the drow. Yes, just like them. Have you run into some? I have. Though, it seems to be the opposite situation here. Yes. People will want powerful positions, and many will try to make the offer. It all does depend on if you do want to take the offer and see what may be gained from it. Now, are you saying you do have someone else in mind? I already have somebody. That's what I'm saying. Though, if I go back on my deal, I don't want to be cursed. Again. Smart. Intelligent. All powerful traits that may be passed on to your child. I'm going now. Him turning, and going to vanish. Thela turning to her grandmother and asking a little bit of advice. The old woman patting her granddaughter on the head and going to talk about it. Come now. They must get things prepared. This will be an event to celebrate. And around Deku, he does wind up back on the material plane, trying to think about exactly what to do and where to head to. A gift for Thela. Yeah, that's another problem. Something fancy like jewelry? Meh, she's a princess. A palace made of diamonds, gold, other valuable materials. Huh. Magical artifacts? That could be a good start, but what type of magical artifact does he even really have? I mean, the Archfey can bless her granddaughter with magics if he does make a proper deal, but oh god, he thinks he might have even known what the deal first name was. Okay. I'll have to ask Thela about that. But there is another option. Right? A magical artifact, but of what kind? What variety? Okay, think about this, Izuku. Him opening his inventory. He has a massive amount of money, so that's not a problem. If he can buy something that could be good. Though, he does have a... No, if he does get that smelted down, that thing is still way too fucking heavy. So jewelry made out of that metal would not work. Adamantine? I mean, he's got plenty of it here, and... Well, he does plan to make a deal with Baku or Ochako if he can for it, so there is that. He doesn't need much of it, really. If he does make some jewelry, a necklace wouldn't work because it's more like steel, and getting it for a necklace would make it either sharp or might harm her. Okay. But going off the idea that it's more like steel, not iron, then that's good. Draconic knowledge. Yes. Do you know if there's anything wrong with phase and adamantine? No knowledge has been detected of this happening. Do you know if they get harmed by it? As a weapon? Yes. I mean, as some sort of accessory. Rings, necklaces, magical items. No record detected. I see. I answered your question the way you intended it to be. Good. Okay. So, he's got 3 dragon corpses, the corpse of a kraken, some smelly plant, a bunch of weapons. Okay. He's got this necklace from from Indra, but trying to make a necklace like that for her. He does still have a lot of those gems from the dungeon, but okay. Maybe that can work. The Fae don't deal much in. Okay, yeah, no, that does work. He'll just need to find a powerful craftsman. Okay. Him going to planeswalk over to Atrigue, asking the man about a place he can go to with a good craftsman. And Atrigue, he does go to try and inform Izuku of a place. One in his territory. Deku stepping away and going to make his way over back to Granala. Whenever Deku does it appear again, the king is alarmed. As someone, they do go to stand there, asking the king questions. Before Amanda is suddenly going to pop up. King Solomon? Yes, Izuku. You've returned sorry. I need the name of a powerful craftsman. One capable of crafting adamantine items. Magical items. I see. I may potentially know someone, but why do you need this item? I may need information. I see. Izuku, are you sure? Izuku? Deku turning his head, and he does get to see an old friend. A powerful mage. Hi, Rosita. It's you. Holy shit. Long story. I understand. But what are you doing here? Looking for something. Do you have any information that can help me? Yes, it will take a second. Him turning and asking someone if they can search for something about crafting, or find the name of a powerful craftsman. And Deku, he has to wait, catching up with Rosita, and she is there to ask him about his escapades. The fact that he's alive, and the fact that he fought a fucking dragon. An actual great dragon. So, what happened there? And he does get to confirm the rumor. He survived the fall, and then went on a journey through the Underdark. Before, someone does come back with the information and scrolls he does need, holding 3 books in their hand as they do hand over a scroll. One talking about a powerful dwarven craftsman he may be able to find. And he does take the information, put it in his inventory, and they're going to hand the person a gold coin. Them surprised as Deku is a turn, looking around, and then going to vanish, not taking a single step from his spot. And Deku, he does begin to try and find someone who could help. Right now, however, he does head back to Atrigue's lair, trying to plan things out as he does go to look over the information he was given. It does talk about forging items, powerful magic, and the stuff that can be used to enchant things. Information that they think Deku may need, along with a map that does show the location of a powerful dwarven craftsman who could be nearby. And Deku, he does go to someone's side. Therefore, he has opened his inventory and try to think. Okay, he needs to find... Him looking up at the settings. And he does get to see some flashing icon. before he does bring his hand up and click on it. Him being told, map consumed. Huh? It popping up in his vision and showing him the land. Before he does go to stare at this, him closing his eyes and being annoyed. Before he does open them up again and go to stare at the new tab that's glaring on his screen. Before he does talk about it. Was that always an option? New system options available. Would you like to go over them? No. No, I really would not. Okay. So the crafting menu, him going over to that, checking out some of the available items he can craft. I mean, he can craft a lot of basic stuff, stronger items, wooden items, adamantine stuff, but his level's too low for those to be good. Stuff from dragon bones. A shield out of... Okay. Magic items. Him glaring at one recipe, he does a C. However, his skill level is far too low in crafting to be efficient to create the item. He'll need dragon's blood, a dragon's eye, adamantine, and powerful magical essence. Right now, him glaring at that. And he does try to look at what he can use to craft this. Before he does go to turn his head and go to use this new map setting, finding out where the craftsman is and going to quote unquote fast travel, attempting to planeswalk to this new location. And there is where a man, he does currently sit in his forge. He's crafting items. He lives outside of a town. People come up here to ask him for all sorts of amenities. Items for their home, and even adventurers who do wish for a powerful weapon on their adventure. He's old. He's happy. But right now, he's a little bored, wondering about what to do for the day. He doesn't have any orders. He does crisply sip his ale as he does turn his head. Right now, looking up at the sky and seeing a large blue beam crash way down nearby. And Deku, he does go to stand there before his map does start updating with information about the area. And he does get to bring his hands up, going to flex his legs and think about how that landing was not what he intended to do. And this, it does go to make the man surprised. For a stranger just come walking up the hill in a red cloak. And the man, he does have powerful magics with him. That felt magical in origin, but felt arcane. And the dwarf, he does go to raise up his hammer as he is up point to the man, informing him. What does he want? He's quite busy today. Him looking at the forge, which does barely radiate any heat. Only the sun kissing its steel. Telling the man, burring up his hand and holding a chunk of adamantine in it. What does he think this is? Something simple. What are you doing with star metal, boy? Good, you know what it is. I need you to make a magic item. Something with this much metal? I don't think it's going to be too good. I can't make you even a dagger out of that stuff. Don't need a dagger. What do you need then? I'm getting married. I need an item for my bride. something befitting a princess. I have not heard of any royal weddings, boy. Who is it you're marrying? That's not for you to know. You think I'll just forge this because you brought this old man some adamantine? Him not convincing in his voice. This guy is serious if he's bringing fucking star metal right off the bat in a negotiation. Whatever else he's got, the man is antsy. He hasn't had much time crafting since he was on the front lines, forging weapons for battle that will see use, come back to him for repair, and see more use. He's seen tons of blades pass by his forge, some winding up cursed, some winding up holy, and others winding up as rust. Right now, that material may wind up as any. He's not willing for one of those, though. And Izuku does gotta bring up his hand, turning as the man will hear a loud thud. Him going to be surprised when the ground shakes again. And he does gotta look up, seeing two purple dragons sitting on the ground, both headless. Deku turning and gonna spill the heads directly down in front of his feet. And the man does gotta look down as his jaw currently does feel like it's on the floor. And he does gotta step up to the man, informing him. He wishes for him to make something simple. Oh, adamantine and dragons. This is far from simple. What do you want? Him a lot more serious. He does gotta talk about it. He wants a headpiece. Do you? Yes. A headpiece. I want you to use the dragon's blood. Him bring up his hand, along with his own. It's going to also require a draconic eye, which one of those dragons is not using anymore. The man nodding his head, turning and sparking his forge with a snap of his fingers. And it does go to ignite brightly as he does talk about it. He can get this started. When does he need it? As soon as you can finish it. Though, I don't know much about the forging process. You're the expert here. The man's smiling. The lad clearly is not stupid. Just give me a second. Him getting things prepared as he does go to ask exactly what type of design they're going for. And whenever Izuku does pull out a piece of paper and starts sketching one of Fey design, the man does begin to pick up a bit more on this. It does have intricate flowers. It does have many, many things here. He does begin by bringing something up and going to walk over, beginning to make patterns out of sand as he does go to do something as he close a cylinder that Deku won't recognize. A mold. Bringing his hand up as some sand is pulled out of the mold and is then tossed aside to the ground. Him turning his head and looking at the sandy ground beneath him, before looking back at the man, who does begin to express. Deku turning and using geomagic to stare at the design. He can feel it from here. It's close, but him slightly turning his head and changing a little bit of the design, since that might fit her a little bit better. And the man does begin to pour steel, showing off to Deku what it might be, but alarmed that it did change. And Deku, he does talk about how she might like that one better. The man turned to Izuku, realizing he did the change, but he didn't say a word, turning back and beginning to heat up the forge to its maximum. And whenever he does begin to stir the adamantine, he does get to try and talk about it, asking as he's to pour in different metals about what he's going to do. Deku going to walk over, bending down and grabbing the dragon by its horn. Before, he has a plunge his hand into its eye, ripping it free of the socket and putting it back in his inventory. Walking over to one of the dragon bodies, as he does, watch fresh blood still pour from one of the necks. Bending down and going to collect the blood in an item he does have. Right now, him pulling his hand up as the man does watch the blood float upwards from the draconic body. Both of them disappearing as Deku, he does make his way over. The two dragons, they are gone. And Izuku, he does begin to lower the blood into the metal as it does somewhat start hissing. Deku bringing his hand up and going to have blood be pulled from his palm. Before he does go to pour it down into the material. The man watching the metal begin to glow brightly before it does disperse. Him pouring it into the mold as Deku, he does go to do one simple thing. He does go to rip the mold open and glare directly at the metal after it began to rapidly cool. Bringing his hand up, I'm going to whisper something. Before he does go to bring up the eye and go to lower it down onto the piece of metal. And it does begin to glow. The item beginning to change and adapt as it does go to be crafted. Deku getting the notification that his crafting skill has increased. And the man does glare at the item. It looks like a small... No, it looks like a intricate headpiece. The design is dark, beautiful, but then there's this strange feeling he gets off of it. It does wrap around and curl around a spot. He's presuming that that might be where horns are. He's seen plenty of things, tieflings in battle, but no, there's not that. It's the spot where it would lower down to the forehead. That shape. That's where a monk's third eye would be, correct? So, why is that there? He didn't factor that into the design. Him turning to Deku and asking him about this. Before Deku does get to tell the man, bring up a bag of gold coins and dropping it in front of him. That this is his payment for that. I see. Him opening the bag and staring at the coins. Young man, who are you? Do you really want the answer to that question? I may call upon you for more forging in the future. Would that be alright with you? Young man, if you're going to be paying me this much money and bringing me items like that, then yes. It's perfectly fine with me, but that doesn't answer my question. A dwarf doesn't forge for something he doesn't believe in. His hammer strikes are half-hearted and they aren't hardy. I understand. Him raising his hand. I'm the hero of Granola. Mizuku. Many people think I'm dead, but I'm not. I plan to announce my arrival back in a couple days, whenever the tournament in New York is happening. The others don't know. Man shaking Deku's hand, alarmed by the fact that this human is stronger than him. And that does only help confirm more that this might be the genuine article. The dragons, adamantine, the way he carries himself, the scar on his face. Fuck, this kid's an actual dragon slayer. And not just some run-of-the-mill dickhead who got lucky. He's also strong. And the man, he does tell Izuku, the item may not be done yet. It does still need about an hour of cooling. Could he get him some ale? How about something to drink? Him nodding his head. The man stepping into his home and depositing his newfound bounty into his house. Coming back out with 2 mugs and going to sit on the steps, asking Izuku, pouring him a glass of mead. About exactly what's going on, though, with this marriage thing he's talking about. Many men who try to seek out him have other options, ideas for what to do. Why is he crafting a headpiece? She's a princess. And she's also a fae. A fae? A fae is going to be crafting. No, a fae is going to be wearing something that I had part in crafting? Yes. She's the granddaughter of an archfey, and that's another story. The dwarf man staring at Deku a bit more. I mean, the young man is some strange, powerful person. He's marrying a fey princess, had adamantine on him, and had not one, but 2 different dragons he's never seen before on the battlefield. And that kind of has him intrigued. He's got the markings of a dragon slayer on his face. And that is interesting. Young man, may I ask who exactly you are? It's complicated. I see. Well, I am Derek. Derek. No, Doric. Oh, nice to meet you, Doric. I'm Izuku. I see. And how did you arrive here? That beam in the woods was you, correct? It was. Though, I do have to say, it's new. You don't do that often. No, I don't. The last couple days of my life have been stranger than the last couple years of my life. And I hope you understand that says something. I understand. I do. Him sipping his mead. Before he has to tell Izuku. It is quite interesting, though. How did he get wrapped up in Fey politics? If this is for a princess. Him beginning to explain. And by the end of it, the man, he has laughed a little bit. He toasted Izuku, and he even talked about how perhaps he might need to help out with his newfound bride. Her family? Yes. Help them out in ways that you do see as good, and they may feel like they owe you. You are family, but calling upon them that way would be good. Calling upon them as allies, they may say no. Yeah, I know. Anyways, has that item cooled by now? Yes, I believe it has. I'm gonna stand, walking over and taking this delicate piece of metal. Him forgetting for a second that this item is made out of something highly durable. Him picking it up and looking at it before he's a use evaluation. Something that does have magical effects. And it does mean something. Right now, him going to turn to the man, informing him. This was very nice. They will see each other again soon one day. Perhaps if fate does allow it. Yes. May fate guide your hand and your hammer. Him nodding and raising a glass to Deku, who does go to turn his head and vanish. The man watching that for his turn looking at his ale, wondering if this entire thing was potentially a hallucination from the heat. Though he does go to kill the rest of his bottle before he does try to lay down, As he already opened it and he's not going to waste good ale. Now, with that being said, Deku, he does return back to the Feywild, where Thela, she has been a little bit scattered. The last couple hours have been a little odd for her. She has been able to get things repaired, and it has been a bit chaotic. Though whenever Deku does arrive, he does go directly to the Archfey, him reappearing directly in the chambers as the guards do to stare at Deku again. None of them making a move this time, but he has a turn, seeing very clearly that this time they do have magic items on them. A man has a pair of gauntlets, a man has a sword, one has a shield, and one does have what looks to be some sort of whip. And this, it does intrigue him. Before he's a turn to the Twilight Court and ask Savetti if she has a moment to chat. Her nodding her head. Before she teleport forwards and grab Deku by the shoulder. Before the two do teleport away. And the courts, they have already heard of the affair. They are going to need to figure things out since the Archfey is having her granddaughter's wedding. Now, for the two to manifest in the Archfey's private office, the two of them do both just won't sit down, talking about it. He gets filled in on what's going to be happening. The ceremony will be small, since there's not really many people who can arrive, and afterwards, they will exchange vows and whatever gifts they may give each other. And Izuku does understand. Before he's hold up the headpiece he crafted for Thela, asking the Archfey she thinks this would be good. And she does not turn, taking it and looking at it, smiling and expressing. It appears her granddaughter may have trouble keeping up. You think so? Yes, she is enchanting your gift as we speak. I see. I do not wish to ruin the surprise. However, have you thought of names? Names? Yes. For an heir? If it is a boy, if it is a girl? No, I really haven't. I'm not really sure about that just yet. I mean, I know we've got to get married, but maybe you know each other well, correct? We do. Let fate guide your hand. I keep hearing that. But my fate, it's mine. It may be, but by fighting it, you do make it happen. So I've heard. Perhaps we can just keep things simple. If things go that direction, then perhaps, but it may be too soon for us. I see. The human way of doing things. Thela might not like it. We'll have that conversation when we get there. Her nodding her head. Before, she should bring up other matters. Wanting to know more about his planeswalker abilities. And Izuku, he does try to sway this in his favor. Right now, she wants information he has. Information she doesn't know. So what exactly can she give him in return for this? And she does try to tell him. Perhaps they can make a deal. And he does just want to smile at this. She wants to know so much about being a planeswalker. And he does understand that. Though he does try to tell her. Perhaps they can. But perhaps she would also like to know a bit more about other planes. I may. What have you seen? A few things. But I did want to ask you about how things are here. Any problems? We've had problems with a manner of beast and a manner of poachers, but that is really it. I see. And how much longer for Thela? About an hour or two. But our conversation? I can perhaps let you know, but what do you intend to offer me? Offer you? For the information. I'll show you. Him raising his hand to her, and she's to look down at Deku's hand. Surprised. Telling her about it. She may only see what his eyes see. Correct? Will she do that? Yes. For the next 2 minutes, you will look through my eyes. Her nodding her head, taking Izuku's hand as he does go to turn his head. And she does gasp out in surprise watching Deku's vision. The way he sees the Feywild is interesting. His feelings are intense, and it does almost make her pull her hand back. Though the mask and facade she's built over a long period of time, it does slightly flinch at that idea of showing weakness. However, she is going to endure it. Watching as Deku, he does look into the upper plains, showing her the land of Bytopia. On the sky, it does going to make her turn and go to freeze, since it is very bright. And then there is where Deku does turn looking into another plane. Him surprised at what he does get to see. A massive beast in the distance attacking something, fighting with another one. And that one is a bit more interesting himself. Someone laughing about it, turning and looking into another plane. But this time, she does somewhat bring her hand backwards, expressing, that is quite interesting. But he does step to these planes, correct? No. It's how I see into them. To be safe first, so I don't get attacked by something whenever I step through. Impressive. Your eyes see through the realms. Nothing hides from you. That is why they hunted you. Perhaps. Though I'm a bit more worried. Whenever the Demon Lord does make a move, he's going to come after me if he knows I'm alive. When did you come back? Awaken this ability? A couple days ago. A couple days. You were that shift in magic. What was felt through the realms. You felt it here? Not just on the material plane. Deku turning his head, realizing one thing. If it was felt on 2 different planes of reality when he awoke, what does that mean? That means someone else felt it. Their enemies may already know. And that thought does somewhat make Deku a bit more alarmed. Before, he does stand and tell the queen he'll be back for the ceremony in a minute. He just needs to alert the other heroes. Perhaps not. Her bring her hand up, telling him, stay for the ceremony, and then, afterwards, he may leave. The other heroes may be safe. Can you guarantee that? Her turning and going to begin casting a spell. Her going to open her eyes and go to look around. They are safe. I see it. For how long? Her turning, telling him, long enough. Right now, they are not in any danger. It will not be for some time. What does that mean? Demons will not attack them for some time. That could mean anything. I cannot say more. You will be there when they attack. Is that sufficient? Yes, it is sufficient. I just need to know. I must go. You do? Yes. I need to take a second to prepare myself and get ready. I may potentially also help out with your incidents nearby. The poachers. I see. Him standing, going to leave as the queen, does want to smile. And right now, Deku does get to head out, going to investigate the area around the Feywild of these poachers they talked about. He does go to find their levels off the beaten path, and he does go to take them down, right on them being frozen in place as he is going to tell them exactly what not to do. And the men, they are annoyed at Deku, talking about what the hell he's doing. And he does look around the area, seeing the creatures put in these magical cages. Before, he has a walk over and begin to release some of them, watching them run off into the woods as one is in a turn. It thanking Izuku in the Fey language. Him watching it leave as he does go to move, making his way over to another cage and ripping the lock off. The creatures escaping again. And he does do this, where he's tear open the lock to a massive gray wolf. It comes stepping out, growling angrily, and the men do begin to scream out as Deku does get to bring up his hand in front of it, informing it, leave. It looking to look at Deku as he does look at it back, him flaring his eyes with a bit of anger. And this time it does get a turn, making its way past some of them. However, it does go to make its way over to one and growl looking at it. As the man, he does begin to warm up the ice he's encased in. The wolf letting out a sound reminiscent of laughter. And he does a walk over, making his way to the last cage as he does a turn watching the wolf's direction. It sufficiently far as he does get to rip open the lock and stare at the massive creature that does get to sit there. It with fresh bandages covering the wounds as it does get to glare at him. The giant tiger roaring at a Deku as he does a step in and bring up his hand, informing it, it's alright. Leave, human. You will not kill my kind. I'm not here to kill you. Slaver. No. Him bending down. Before he is to bring a hand out and it does try to swipe at him with a paw. Him catching the massive paw in his hand, informing it, help. Before he does it to heal it. And the creature, it does climb back to its feet. Surprised as Deku does lead it out of the cage. Talking about it. Good. Now it may leave. No. These ones. It began to growl in its stomach. Deku bringing his hand up and telling it. He released it. He'll take them in and they will face justice. They must die. No. They can't. You're gonna save us? Him turning to the man. A little bit of anger in his expression. Death is the easy way out. They'll rot in bars. The same fate as us. Worse. They'll never see outside of those cells again. That is their punishment. Ripping them apart, tearing them apart, that's easy. That's minutes at best. Seconds if they're lucky. That's years in cages. Far worse than what they did to you. The tiger going to glare directly at one of them for turning its head back to Izuku, informing him that it now owes him a debt. And he just won't sigh. Before he does think about it for a second, a giant, dire tiger, and it owes him a favor. I mean, actually, this is very good. The giant creature watching Deku bring his hand directly up to his mouth, thinking about it. No, that could work. Huh. I'll take you up on that offer. You will. Yes. I wish for you to serve me for the next couple days. Is that all? Yes. I will need your help. Right now, I have to turn these men in so they may rot. Afterwards, I need to attend my own wedding. Wedding. The ceremony. Correct. It is complicated. I don't know if you understand it all or really what you would understand. I see. Are you calling me simple? No. I'm saying if I try to understand what you did for certain things, you may not know what I do. Do you know what a TV is? No. Exactly. So I don't expect you to understand a lot of things I know. I will give you my word. It's only a couple days. No more than a week. Afterwards, you will get free reign. You may leave if you do choose, or you may continue to follow me. I will not force you on anything. Understand? Good. Though, don't try to eat people. During my service to you. Yes. Afterwards, that's whatever you do. Him going to bring his hand with the people around him covered in ice do to shift into balls of water, running their heads sticking out as they do to make their way back over to the castle. And over Deku to turn these men in, the guards, they do to take in the poachers. Him explaining that he released most of the animals back into the wild. With the giant tiger following him, it's sticking around. And when the creature is seen in the palace, people are quite alarmed. However, Izuku does talk about it. It's okay. And the creature, it does go to stare around at many of the fake creatures around it, surprised and alarmed. However, whenever they do go to bring it food, it does get to settle down a bit more, being less wary of these people around it. And the ceremony, it does go to begin. Deku is given some proper clothes to change into, and Thela, she does go to get her own clothes ready. And the Archfey, she does go to express about what's going to happen. The two will exchange words and exchange gifts. And after that, then, they may continue. And this, it is rather interesting to Deku. Right now, him bringing up the gift he created for her, trying to tell her. She helped him out on his journey. He was lost and she became a light, a beacon that helped try and bring him home. He created this for her, handing the item over. And the Archfey and Thela are both quite surprised that this is made of adamantine. However, when she says put it on, she says look around. Right now, the draconic eye on it going to open. And it does make her look around and stare on at a lot of things. Though, a small amount of light does radiate from her head. And the Archfey does stare on surprised. Before Thela, as I bring something up and hand it over to Izuku. him being given two strange looking leather bracers that do go to move onto his wrist, him staring at them. They're not long, they're more like cuffs, kind of, but not exactly. They're short, they're small. Huh. They almost remind him of the shackles back in the Underdark. And this does make Deku somewhat think about those. He does still have them in his inventory. He needs to find a way to either melt them down or do something else with them. And Izuku, he does go to bring his hand up as he's told about what they do. The bracers are powerful, and they do allow him to manipulate mana better. They're known as weaponry bracers, a focus for his abilities. And he does get to bring his hand up, going to fire an arrow directly across the room. It dispersing in the air as Deku, he does get to stare at that, bring his hand up and creating a whip. And this does interest him. It's incredible. Him going to watch as the whip does morph in its chains at his thought. And right now, he does stare down at them. I mean, they're amazing. And he does that turn. Right now, her going to step forwards as he does wrap her up into a kiss. And the archfey, she does teleport away. As Deku and Leela, the two do to head off, since tonight is their wedding night. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.